I'm smarter than the sawdust. So you should be smarter than the sawdust. It ain't that hard. They got a wooden head. It's like sawdust ain't that smart, but it's persistent. Welcome to Hobby Hardwood, Alabama Sawmill, a mom and pop operation that produces some of the highest grade lumber in the country. Hey y'all, good to see you again. Robert Milton coming at you from Hobby Hardwood, Alabama Sawmill. And I've been getting a lot of comments on some of our infrastructure, what I should be talking about, things like different machines. And we got some cool machines, so I don't mind talking about them. Ways we handle wood, ways we dry wood, and even how we get rid of our waste streams. Now, I'm not talking about old man waste streams, I'm talking about sawmill waste streams. Sawdust being one of the primary things people ask about, because a lot of sawmills are not using the new technologies to get rid of the sawdust. That's from this morning. So can you imagine sawing, and at the end of the day, your last thing isn't turn the key off on the sawmill, your last thing is get a shovel and shovel all this garbage out from under your sawmill. The fine dust, or the stuff you breathe in, the stuff you respire in your respiratory system, is the dust that will give you health problems. So your lungs are important. You only got two of them. You need them both. I see a lot of people, a lot of companies that I work with where you got old men about as old as I am, and they don't smoke, or they used to smoke, but they sound like they've been smoking for 150 years. They're coughing, their ribs are breaking, they got emphysema, they look bad. I mean, I don't look that good. They don't look good. They look like they're about to die. And I go up to him and said, "Hey buddy, you look like you're about to die. Don't you think you ought to get out all this damn sawdust?" And as they cough and shoot lungs up, they go, "No man, I've been doing this for 100 years. I'm as healthy as a horse." And then it looks like they're about to roll over dead. So when you're in a sawmill environment, or you're in any environment where there is respirable dust, i.e. the stuff that can get in your lungs and kill you, certainly harm you, then you need to take precautions. I don't know of a lot of things that make more dust than a sawmill and secondary processing equipment that makes sawdust for a living. That's kind of what it does. It makes chips and it makes dust and it makes wood. It also makes hernias, but we won't talk about that right now. So as you're working with your equipment, whether you're a hobbyist, whether you're a professional, whether you're young and invincible, whether you're old like me, you need to try to take steps to protect your health, and you need to take steps to save steps. Let the machines handle the sawdust. You guys watch enough of my videos, you know what my setup looks like. Have you ever really looked at what my setup looks like? Here's me standing at my console, my joystick, my video game, and I'm doing my sawing. If you've looked at the videos, you'll notice right up here I have a fan to create a curtain of air. That air will come down in front of me right here. It's just like Get Smart, right? The cone of silence. This is the cone of clean air. It's so cool. Sometimes you'll see a cloud of air, of sawdust, slowly creeping this way, and it hits the cone of clean, and it goes that way. And I just smile because I'm breathing clean air. It's not getting to me. It's trying to get to me. It's trying to get in my lungs. I ain't gonna let it. I'm smarter than the sawdust. So you should be smarter than the sawdust. It ain't that hard. They got a wooden head. It's like sawdust ain't that smart, but it's persistent. All right, so next thing. I do have a hose reel right here. This is hooked up to an air compressor. 130 PSI on this line right here. This is used for cleaning the mill off. This is used for blowing things away. It's for quickly, if I need to work on something. It's a very handy tool to have around a sawmill. This thing can come down. You can let it wind itself back up. You can turn it on. You can blow stuff, and you don't have to get it in your lungs. So I've got a little handle on this thing that's half broken because I bought it from Lowe's. Piece of junk. But either way, it goes right here. Wood-Mizer and others build a dust port, sawdust chute, something. I've had this hose on for a year. I have had to do a little duct taping to it because during the winter time, these hoses get cold and they get wore out and they get brittle and they crack. Well, either way, the sawdust comes out here, goes in this hose, goes up the hose, goes through this blast gate, connects with other things. You can see that goes inside the building. Comes all the way out here, goes through a hole. If y'all saw the dust collector install series, we did a 3-part series a couple years ago, I guess, of us putting this beast in. This is a 5-horse blower. That's how big our old one used to be. 6-inch pipe. That would handle the sawmill. We couldn't run multiple tools at one time. I still leave it up there as a backup in case the other one ever dies. Then it goes through here, comes out here and goes into this beauty. I think we got it at Harbor Freight. Not. 12-inch pipe, a lot of horsepower, a lot of CFM. Main thing is though, it's a cyclone. Comes out, goes around, spins, centrifuges out. The heavy stuff falls out like a whirlpool, goes into the dumpster. The light stuff continues that direction and comes out there, and there's very little bit of, probably catches 95–99% of it. Prime importance is this little baby right here. This is called an airlock. What this does is this spins like a paddle wheel. It's sealed. It keeps a vacuum so that the suction of the cyclone can still work, but yet it, just like the revolving doors of a building, it lets the debris fall straight down into our dust bin. That way I don't have to empty bags. A lot of folks know about normal cyclones. You got to have a sealed system. An airlock prevents that. You can dump straight down into a bin, and then when the bin's full, you're done. Wouldn't saw without it. This is the inside. It comes right through the wall, penetrates, and goes through here, goes to the chop saw, goes to our big planer, goes to our other tools, our straight line rip saw, and of course it also goes to our facer. And this is what it looks like. So just like Vanna White, I will point. It comes in through here, drops to the straight line, drops to the planer, the back side, the aft cutter, drops to the planer, the front cutters, drops to the facer, and also to the chop saw, and then continues out the building to our equipment out on the other wall. So basically we have one machine that runs everything. And you want to get a dust collector that's big enough so you don't have to keep buying it. Trust me, I've bought several. Each one's a little bigger and a little bigger and a little more expensive and a little more expensive. And before you know it, you just bite the bullet and get the good one and the big one. And it's got snap lock metal joints. It's got flexible hoses that are good, that will last a while, at least a year. You will wear through them if you're throwing enough chips. And then you have the forklift dumpable hopper that flips over, and basically it turns sawdust into a non-event. Let's talk about our bin here. So this is a self-dumping hopper. You put the forks in the little holes down there in the tubes. You pick it up, when you get ready to dump it, you pull up this lever, which is hooked up to a chain, so you snap the chain, the whole mess flips over. Whole mess flips over, boom, it dumps. You jiggle the forks, it resets, you back up and you put it there. When we're sawing hard, I'll go through 2 or 3 of these a day. If I'm not sawing hard, I'll go through 1 or 2 of these a week. It just kind of depends. Main thing is, look how much sawdust is in there. That's from this morning. Now, can you imagine? You probably can. I don't know, can you? So, can you imagine sawing, and at the end of the day, your last thing isn't turn the key off on the sawmill, your last thing is get a shovel and shovel all this garbage out from under your sawmill. Now, there are some stuff that fall through the bottom of the sawmill. Can't help it. Most of them are big chunks. I don't want this mess going through my dust collector anyway. A lot of leaves get blown in. This looks like a lot. It probably is about a yard. So when you consider how little sawdust is actually making it to the ground versus how much is going into the dumpsters, I'm happy. Take steps to save steps. And remember, I am not Vanna White. Y'all have a good day. We will see you next time. Thanks for visiting our sawmill. Click on the links above to see more of our videos. Thanks for visiting our sawmill. Click on the links above to see more of our videos.